Hello. Welcome to the Metro Trans Umbrella Group's first annual telethon.
First annual telethon.
First annual. Let's give it here. Woo! Yes!
We are live from Pride Studios. We've got a little bit of a live studio audience here in the house with us today.
Thank you for joining us.
We appreciate you so much.
It's the first hour of 24, so we're gonna kick it off, right?
Yes.
We're excited.
Yes.
Yes. So we're gonna talk about what we're doing, the things that we're doing today. We are building power for transgender people in the metro area. We are collecting funds to expand services for the Metro Trans Umbrella Group. We're going to tell you about our organization. Start off by
Just tell us all about MTUG.
Yeah.
We'll talk about QT-Pop.
Yep.
We'll talk about the garden. We'll tell you all the great things that MTUG does and all the people that we serve.
Yeah. So, and maybe introduce
I was
ourselves,
going to say,
right?
we probably need to tell the people
You
who
need
we
to
are.
know who we are.
We're the most important people for the next
really?
24 hours.
All right. So I'm Sarah Johnson, and I am the executive director and one of the co-founders of the Metro Trans Umbrella Group. I use he, him for my pronouns.
Hey everybody, I'm Lady Ashley Gregory. I am a board member of the Metro Trans Umbrella Group as well as the lead support group facilitator for QT-POC STL, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers.
My name is Leon Braxton, or people call me Dieta Pepsi, or people call me Miss Leon. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm on the board of directors for Pride St. Louis and also a facilitator for several support groups for MTUG. We'll talk about those later. And I'm here as the Director of Diversity and Inclusion and as a part of the MTUG family.
So the origins of MTUG. In 2013, a small group of humans who were attending the locker room decided that we wanted to organize more completely and be more inclusive of organizing in the metro area. This sort of came out of a few events that happened. One of the events that happened was one of our matriarchs in the trans community had passed away, and we were unable to secure the funds to bury her in a way that she wanted to be buried. And so I think that sort of lit a flame under a few of us. Like, if we had power, if we had a presence in the community, we would have been able to raise that money so easily, but we didn't. And so I think that was part of it. We had gone to Pride as the locker room, and we had heard some comments from folks that were compliments as far as, wow, we would have really never guessed these sorts of things about you. And we decided that it was important for trans folks to be more visible and upfront and take up some space. And so Alex and Ray and myself got together with some prompting from some other humans in the organization and decided to create the Umbrella Group to be an inclusive organization. And here we are, 5 years later, taking up some space in the metro area and doing this fantastic fundraiser. I'm really proud of the work that the Metro Trans Umbrella Group has done. And the basis of what we do is social, emotional support for transgender adults, as well as positive visibility and building power for transgender people.
So I guess I'm going to take the time to tell you right now a little bit about QT-POC STL. QT-POC STL is a support group that I facilitate here in the St. Louis area for queer and trans people of color. Now, QT-POC STL arose after the murder of Mike Brown. Being queer and trans people of color in St. Louis, we felt like we had nowhere to go, no niche to talk about our feelings and how this affected us. So MTUG thankfully gave us a home and gave us a support group and a place to meet so we could talk about our feelings. We know as being queer people, as being people of color, living our lives every day is an act of resistance, it's an act of resilience, and we just needed a place to go to find community and to talk about the things that were important to us. And so that's the origins of QT-POC STL.
Yes. Thank you. And I'm going to talk about the Trans Memorial Garden because I was very instrumental in getting that started. It all came about because of all the senseless trans murders that had happened in 2015. And I'm a firm believer of always looking for the bright side of something, or always how to take a tragedy and turning it into something beautiful. So I thought to myself, why does every story always have to be so negative about trans people and the trans women that were murdered? Why couldn't we have something beautiful? So I was in my bathrobe drinking a cup of coffee on an August morning, and I was flipping through Facebook, and there was this thing from the city of St. Louis called Trees for Hope or Plants for Peace. And it said you can come and you get plants and you can do a reflective garden, or you can put them in a park somewhere. And I thought, well, why can't we have a reflective garden for trans people? So I went to City Hall, and y'all know me, once I get my mind set, I'm like a dog with a bone, I can't let it go. So I went to City Hall, met Louis Reed. I said, look, Louis, I've got to have a plot of land somewhere close to the Grove, because that's kind of like our neighborhood, where I want to celebrate trans people. So we looked and we found this plot of land, and we made it into the very first ever in our nation, the very first trans memorial garden, and it's located in the Grove. So we got together with Monty Abbott and Jarrett Steele. Monty did all the planning, and he told us what trees to get, and we got those. And it's a beautiful garden. It's in its third year, and it's beautiful. We have trees planted. We're going to have an herb garden started there. We have benches that people can come sit and reflect. We have a lighted pathway. People go and they tell me that they go during the day and just sit there and be with peace, and it's a very tranquil space, and I'm very proud to have been a part of that and started that. The very first transgender memorial garden here in the U.S. and the second around the world. So here in St. Louis, we are doing great things.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, like, going back to the creation of that garden, the sense of community that we had here in St. Louis was absolutely amazing. We had people out with shovels and hose and rakes and everything that you could possibly imagine, putting mulch down, digging up rocks. It was an amazing, amazing show of community and solidarity. So right now we want to bring it back and talk to you a little bit about how we want you to donate to our telethon.
So there's going to be a variety of ways that you can donate. You can log on to our website. Do we have the big sheet? Where is the big sheet? So we can log on to our website, and we're
Here,
down
you bring
here.
me.
We're not going to, we'll just.
What? No. Come on. Here, I'll hold it. I'm the tallest and I have the whitest body.
Here we go.
Here you go. I'll be your Vanna White.
Okay, so you can visit stlmetrotrans.com and click Donate Now. You can call, that's right, y'all, because this is going to be a real live telethon. You can call 314-287-5383 and talk to a beautiful live human right here at the Pride Center and donate your money. Or you can click on the donate button on our Facebook page. So there's lots of ways that you can contribute. Share our telethon on your Facebook feeds. Tweet about us. Get the information, get it out there. Let's create a buzz about centering trans and queer people in St. Louis and building power for transgender adults. This is the time, y'all. This is exciting. This is like nothing else we've ever done. We have this fancy meter over here.
Yes.
Yes.
Right now we're here. We want to all the way up to meet our goal of $10,000. And you know me, I like to break things down into small sections. Each hour, we only need to raise $420 an hour to meet our goal of $10,000. So all you out there in Facebook land and social media land, please get on the phone, get on the internet, donate, donate, donate. Let's set our first goal. I think we had someone already donate this morning.
We had our first donation this morning from Mike Murphy. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
$250. If you call in, I'll thank you personally, but thank you very much. It's this sort of giving from our community that's going to make us reach our goal and be able to expand services for trans folks in the area.
So this $10,000, what are we going to use it for?
That's such a good question. So what we're going to use it for is basically expanding services with MTUG. One of the successful programs that we have run soon after the recent election, we launched a fund to support people in getting their names changed, Name Change Documentation Fund. We were able to award 40 scholarships at $130 each to individuals to help pay for their court costs regarding their name change. It's vital for trans folks to have their documentation match their presentation in order to secure housing and in order to secure jobs. It's vital. So that program needs to be replenished. We have Last I looked at 38, 42 people in the queue waiting for those funds. So we'd like to donate a portion of the $10,000 to replenishing that fund. You want to talk about access to our meetings, Lady Ashley?
Yes, we have amazing support group meetings that provide a variety of support and community for so many people here in St. Louis. It would be very helpful if we could have the funding to provide bus tokens to help people get from their homes to our meetings. We're very aware that everybody does not have the funding to take the bus. We're very aware that everybody does not have their own transportation. So anything we can do to get people out to our support group functions to have the support that they need within our community is something that we definitely really want to do.
Yes, because I have a person that comes to one of our support groups, and she takes Call a Ride, and Call a Ride, they don't take bus pass, they only take cash. So it's going to be very good for us to help support that person with the necessary means to get to our support group meetings, because she enjoys coming to the meetings, and this is how we get some of the people that desperately need these support groups to get there.
Absolutely. And so a bus pass is $80 a month in the city. And so we're talking about one of the other ways that you can be a sustaining donor of the Metro Trans Umbrella Group is to become a monthly donor. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can donate monthly. The $80 a month, which, you know, is a lot of dough, but it can be life-changing for a trans person to be able to have access to a bus whenever they need to get to the social emotional support, to get to a job, to get to medical appointments, to get to the human beings who hold them up and love them. It's vital. It's life-saving. A bus pass can be life-saving for transgender folks.
Yeah. All right, so coming up, we have a video from a great friend, AJ Bockelman. AJ was actually very crucial into planting a seed for MTUG. He donated the first $250 to the organization. So thank you so much for believing in MTUG. We appreciate you, we respect you, and we're looking forward to hearing from you right now.
Hey y'all, I'm with AJ Bockelman, the Assistant Director at Empower Missouri. Hi AJ.
Howdy, Sarah.
I'm talking to AJ specifically about the role I know him best in, which would have been the Executive Director of Promo. But why don't you talk to us about what you're doing nowadays? And now,
Sure.
Go ahead.
Empower Missouri is an old organization. It's been around almost 120 years. Our focus is on anti-poverty initiatives, and in this next year, we anticipate in the legislative process to actually change the age by which an adolescent would be charged as an adult, because currently they can be charged at 14. We're going to switch that to 18 this year, most likely.
yeah. So I can sense intersections in the work that you all are doing and the work that we're doing, certainly.
Very much so.
Yeah. And so I guess this brings me to why I wanted you to come here, why I wanted to kind of center you for a moment, because AJ and Promo, when the Metro Trans Umbrella Group first started to decide to be, I approached a few humans in the community who I admired as leaders, and you were one of them, and you were very supportive and very empowering to MTUG. You gave us our first official check that we actually had to write like a receipt for, which was a whole learning process and very exciting, and it was important, and the encouragement that you gave our organization, that you gave me personally to take up that space as a trans organization was really valuable, and I really think it helped propel us forward. And so I'm really grateful for that role that you've had in this local trans liberation movement.
Oh, thank you, and I'm humbled by that.
So I guess I want to talk about the lens you've seen the trans liberation movement happen through the city, I think, specifically in St. Louis locally, and what your experience has been in seeing us come to be.
So my perspective is really as an advocate. And so when I would work at either the federal level in Washington, D.C., or in Jefferson City, or even here at the local level, back when I first started as a volunteer at Promo, the community would talk about gay and lesbian issues, or just simply shorthand gay issues. Jefferson City didn't have a context for LGBTQ as they do now. And so it's been about visibility, making sure that you're seen. And I think one of the greatest things that I've noticed about the trans liberation movement, especially in our own backyard, is that people are now out, visible. You have a broad, diverse community to draw from. And I think you're seeing that here this weekend at the Telethon.
For sure. Yeah. Hold on, you have to pause it for a second. We're not live. Can you pause it for a second? Okay, is she left?
I mean, if we're not live,
We can edit and cut. What was my next question? What did I ask you?
But why did we give the 250?
Yeah, give us the money, why you gave it. Yeah, okay. We'll come back. So I guess in thinking about the relationship that Promo and MTUG has, why did you invest in the Metro Trans Umbrella Group?
We want to make sure that people became visible. One of the things that Promo as an organization will likely always focus on, and definitely did in my term as executive director, we focus on the policy side, like how do we impact the laws on a statewide basis. And so one of the things for the trans community that is incredibly important is the fact that it's access to services. That we know from the data that has been so far compiled about the trans community, the few surveys that have been done on a national basis, that the needs are so great that whether it's access to housing, basic employment, stable health care, those are things that are a continuing struggle, a constant struggle. And Promo, it wasn't a direct service organization. Metro Trans Umbrella Group has been able to connect directly with the community and provide access to services, access to how do you maintain your life on a daily basis. That's such a basic human needs is such a core element that I believe that there needed to be a group that directly represented and was a voice for the trans community that Promo couldn't necessarily be.
Sure. Well, we appreciate you supporting us and giving us the love and empowering us and helping us push forward as an organization. And I appreciate your role in my own life as an organizer and just in your role in the transgender liberation movement for St. Louisans. I appreciate you.
I'm honored to be a part.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Tune in, contribute, and share.
So 2017 has been a year of growth for MTUG. We had our 4th annual art show. Over 70 pieces of art and hundreds of visitors were there. We had our annual Transgender Memorial Garden free picnic to kick off Pride Month, where we tabled at 4 prides. We expanded and grew to 2 new support groups. And we had our first big, fat trans queer prom, which was a huge success, followed by our fall festival. We launched a name change scholarship fund that funded over 40 scholarships in addition to helping dozens more navigate the process to their more authentic selves. We supported Kiwi Herring's family by raising almost $20,000. The money helped her with financial expenses and helped get the family some support afterwards. They were an amazing family. It was great to meet all of them. We hold you very close to our hearts. So thank you so much for welcoming us into your home. You mean so much to us. We attended the Creating Change Conference as a leadership team for the 5th time and provided rooms for 10 emerging and established trans leaders. We supported, we engaged, and we created systems that were not there. We collaborated, we protested, and we grieved together about things that were going on in our communities. Most importantly, what we did was we took up space, unapologetically and intentionally, and we will continue to do this and more, so we need your support.
And how we get that support is how? By donating one of these 3 ways.
You can visit stlmetrotrans.com and click Donate Now, or you can call 314-287-5383, or even text to that number. Last but not least, you can click the donate button on our Facebook page.
So contribute to MTUG. The work we do, it's vital to local trans, non-binary, and intersex community. The work we do saves lives. Like, that is the thing that comes up often when I'm engaging in conversation with folks, is that MTUG saved my life. It provided a beacon of social emotional support when I didn't know what else to do or where else to turn. We provide social emotional support through our 6 support groups. Diana's going to talk about that in a few minutes. Social outings, special events, name change. We do response and reaction to transphobia and violence in our community. We support the nation's only transgender memorial garden. We provide 2 yearly free clothing swaps where people can come in and get clothing that matches their identity in a free and loving environment. It's fun. We have a good time
Yes, we
every
do.
time we do that.
Yes.
So many people come out and we're loving on each other and looking fabulous and bringing home bags of clothes. We do hours of advocacy through our cultural competency classes, which is one of the ways that we raise money for our organization. Organizations pay us to come in and provide training to their staff, to their support systems. We've done everything from hospital networks to English classes. Any place that has people gathered is going to engage and serve transgender folks. And to have that cultural competency in place, provided by transgender trainers, is vital and important, and it's the right thing to do. And it also supports transgender people in making money. The work that we do is valuable and important, and we are an organization that is making systems where there were none. So our annual budget is $38,000 a year. And I would say that if you look at any other local nonprofit that provides direct service, you will see that this amount is insufficient. And it's quite amazing that we do the amount of work that we do on that budget, but it's time to center trans and queer people and fund our movement. Personally, there's something in me felt a little guilty maybe about using money and centering money because capitalism chokes me. But in order to provide services for transgender folks, we have to have the resources in place. The resources are going to come from your contributions. Help us raise this 10 grand in 24 hours, y'all.
$420 every hour.
So, Leon, you want to talk about the support groups?
Sure, I'll talk about support
And
groups.
Pass it on.
Pass it on.
All right.
Well, we have some wonderful support groups. We have FemSpec for humans on the fem side of the gender spectrum. They are a wonderful organization. A lot of humans attend this support group, and this is one of the ways your dollars could help get bus passes so people to come support groups. Locker Room for humans on the masculine side of the gender spectrum. Again, bus passes are needed for these things. We have humans that sometimes come to these support groups, they get their support, and sometimes we send them home with bags of food because, sometimes food is hard to come by, and we want everyone to not only do, in TUG and our support groups, not only do we feed minds and souls, we also feed bodies. We have Spectrum, which is for our non-binary and non-conforming family. We have QTPOC, which stands for Queer Trans People of Color, for our siblings of color who are trans and queer identities. We have the Orchid Support Group for intersex individuals, and we have a private internal mixed mental health support group, and we also have active online support groups. So in all our support groups total, we serve between 100 and 125 adults monthly. So MTUG is always doing great things to support and empower and uplift those in our community who can't get it elsewhere. So our support groups are very vital to MTUG.
It's the heartbeat of the organization. It's why we do the work that we do. Of course, positive visibility is important, but the social emotional support is what makes it. I say in my elevator speech, when I was 16 years old, I came out as a lesbian to my mother. I'm like, Mom, I'm a lesbian. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to take you to meet your people. And so she took me to my first gay pride at Forest Park. And I got out of the car and I met my people. And they were very old. But at least I knew I could be an old lesbian because I had possibility models.
Right.
And so fast forward, I'm 35 years old. I'm like, Mom, I'm transgender. She's like, oh my God, I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to find your people. And so that's what organizers do, and that's what we did. And I believe that finding my people and being in community with other trans folks and having that love and that support is what has enhanced my transition. But I am a person who has come from privilege because when I came out as a transgender adult, my partner was a champion who picked up a torch and has never put it down. My children were loving and supportive. My mother, loving and supportive. And so that's the privilege base that I've used to organize in this community, because I believe that that social emotional support is vital. Vital to our liberation movement.
Yes. And I thought it was very important to start an intersex support group. And MTUG, when I first found out 5 years ago that I was intersex, I had no idea what I was going to do, because I had never met another intersex person here in the Midwest. Yes, I've been online and I heard about intersex, but there was no one that I knew that was out in intersex here in St. Louis. So the first time I told a lot of people in MTUG, they were like, girl, we already knew that a long time ago. And I was like, well, thanks. I wish somebody would have told me. So when I found out, I was like looking for community. So I started a little private group. There were 5 or 6 people that joined, and now we have up to 20 people. We have our own support group, and these support groups are like our family. So I found my intersex community through MTUG, through its support group, through you all out there. And the way we can keep this going, again, is to always go back to what we're here for, is to donate, because this MTUG helped me through a very difficult times, along with some of my friends out there. And without MTUG, without support of support groups, I don't know how I got through it.
We all are talking a little bit about why we do what we do. I'm going to pass this on. Just in case you want to know how to donate, it's listed here. But we're all taking the time to talk a little bit about why we do what we do. And I am here on the board of the Metro Trans Umbrella Group as an ally. And I think it's very important for allies throughout the St. Louis metro area and throughout the world to realize what they can do to help our trans siblings. It's very important to support them. One of the ways you can support is by donating, but also to help them live their most authentic lives. To be there, to be a voice for people who may not be able to speak out for themselves, but don't speak over those folks as well. Being the lead of the support group, QT-POC STL, has given me an opening to provide support for people who normally wouldn't have it in our community. Sometimes it's hard to find, as we call them, safer spaces for folks of color, especially queer folks of color, where they can come in community and sit and speak with each other and talk about their lives and things that are going on.
Well spoken, Lady Ashley.
Thank you.
Always. Okay, so we'll talk about the ways to donate. Make sure that you're sharing our live feed on Facebook. If you're watching us on Facebook, share it. Let's create a buzz. Let's create a chain reaction to get this going all over the metro area. Before you're getting ready to go out, just keep on tuning in and seeing all the exciting things that are coming up. We've got interviews scheduled this afternoon. We've got entertainment. We're going to check in on some live art producing with Alex. Amber Johnson's going to be here soon to talk about one of the ongoing art projects that we're going to have for the next 24 hours. QT-POC time is from 8 until 11, where we're centering queer and trans people of color with different interviews and some entertainment. We've just got a lot of really exciting things going on today.
They're going to make me do karaoke, y'all. So you need to stay tuned for that, because I can't sing.
Right.
And the best people to do karaoke are the folks who can't sing. So tune in for that.
And I have the wonderful duty of having the midnight to 7 a.m. shift. So I get to be your late night host, because you know what? Late night is my life. So during the late night hours, we may have a drag show. I told folks to call in. If you're coming from the bar, stop by. We may have some folks from JJ's, from all the bars, stop by, because, you know, we want to center the nightlife people too. So I'll be here throughout the day, but I'll mostly be from midnight to 7 a.m. And then we come back at 7 a.m., the 3 of us, back together for kind of our morning talk show.
We kind of originally called it Coffee Talk, but
Coffee Talk.
It's sort of been renamed Trans AM. Trans AM.
Trans
Right.
AM,
This
yes.
will be very exciting. We'll be slap happy, I'm sure, at that point, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Little sleep deprived.
But we'll have a good time.
It will be fun. We're going to have some good conversation and see what's going on in the Facebooks and talk about it.
Yes.
So I just have like a question for both of you. Like, we talked about what's happening, but I want to know, like, what are you most looking forward to seeing in this telethon? Like, you personally, Miss Leon, and you personally, Sayer, and I want to know why.
I'm excited to see Maxi Glamour, because if y'all do not know Maxi Glamour, baby, Maxi does the most insane, another word I can think of, insane makeup. I tell them all the time, Maxi, you should be in California doing special effects makeup. Their makeup is phenomenal. I'm sure you've seen them on the Facebook as I can't even pronounce. They've given him such a wild name. I just love to see.
The reigning queen of polka and baklava.
Wow. Yes, polka and baklava.
Anybody who can mix polka and baklava together must be amazing.
Yes, and so I cannot wait to see them and interview them and talk to them and see what they're up to. And Lord knows what they're going to look like when they come here, because every time they put on makeup, it's amazing.
I am looking forward to Androbeat. I've never seen them live. I've only seen clips. I know, a clip here and there, and Amber Johnson only recently come into my life, and already a big fan of their work, of their amazingness. And so I'm excited to see that whole extra element of that human perform and do their thing. And I gotta say, fanboy moment, Mara Kiesling is gonna be Skyping in tomorrow morning. And so that's very exciting. And I'm super excited to engage with her because she's delightful and lovely and a trailblazing human in our national movement.
Most definitely. I am excited about seeing some burlesque. We have some burlesque coming up in the late night hours, wee early hours of the morning. We have an amazing queer woman of color who's a burlesque performer here in St. Louis. Her name is Rose Whip, and she brings it. So I want you all to stay tuned to see her and the other burlesque performers we have in her hours. We're also going to have some go-go dancers and a DJ for you all. So for those of you late birds who like to stay up and dance in your room like me, now would be the time for you to come and dance with us late night tonight.
And who knows, in the wee hours, I may put a little makeup on and do a couple of numbers for y'all. Yeah, that'll be fun. Huh? Yeah.
I'll be here to root you on.
Okay.
No, I won't. I'll probably be taking a nap.
They'll all be asleep, and I'll be up by myself.
There
so.
might be some napping.
There might be some. No, there's some napping going on.
I
so
might
let's just be
drink
on
my
it.
first Red Bull ever.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I've never had one.
We could film that.
They'll
Yeah.
give you wings. It'll give you wings.
It'll give me wings.
It'll give
I
you wings,
will
and I'll cook them up.
Fly
So,
up
yeah.
out of here, you all. So,
All
yeah.
right. Let's bring it back to how people can donate, right? This is what we're going to keep on talking about over and over and over again. Visit stlouismetrotrans.com and click on the Donate Now button. I do believe that you can view the YouTube version of what's going on our webpage. We are on YouTube. Did you know that? We have a
Yes,
YouTube
YouTube.
channel. So if you go to the YouTubes and you Google the Metro Trans Umbrella Group, you're going to find us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and so you can watch us uninterrupted. On the Facebook, we're going to stop every hour or so for about 2 minutes to re-up, and that just helps us with the Facebook flow. But if you want it live nonstop, YouTube. You can call us. Talk about calling us, Lady Ashley.
All right. So you can actually call or text us. The number is 314-287-5383 to donate. And like we said, it only takes $420-something an hour to reach that $10,000 goal. So we want to see that MTUG Telethon thermometer go up, 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 up.
Till we hit 10,000 and more. We want to see this thing just burst at the top.
We can keep going.
We can keep going.
We
10,000
can cut off the
yeah.
top and
Yep,
have it
no
just
problem.
spurt out.
Yep.
We have paint for days,
Paint for days. Yes.
For days.
which you will see later.
Yes, so we're gonna have a good time this 24 hours. It's gonna be a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. You're gonna hear some personal narratives, personal stories. I can't wait for the interviews with some of our great community leaders and see what great things they're doing, because a lot of the people in our community who are allies support trans and queer people, and we're just here to celebrate and uplift them too, as well as everyone in our community.
So you can click the Donate Now button on the Facebook. And again, we're encouraging you to share our Facebook feed, get people engaged, get people excited. So we're going to take a quick little transitional break for our next.
Yeah, meow.
Meow, meow, meow.
I think we have a fun thing. Is that queued up? Or how are we doing the breaks?
How are we doing the breaks?
You know, yep. All right.
Okay.
So work in progress, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, we're having a good
I almost just fainted.
Don't faint.
I'm super excited right now because
God.
we have some news to share with you
I'm going to the ugly cry.
as an audience, and we just want to let you know right now. I know the anticipation is building because we're going to tell you something, but we just haven't yet told you what we are going to tell you. But what we are going to tell you right now is that
We are at
465. We're at 500. Oh my God, we're at 500. Yes.
our first $500.
We're at 565. Yes.
565.
We're at 565.
It
Whoa,
keeps going
what?
up, up, up.
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
let's-
this is our lovely
yep.
artist.
Alex Drummer, hi.
Alex Turner, give it up for them. Yes. So this is awesome. So, like I said, every hour we have to raise what? $425 to make our 10,000. We're already ahead of that already in the first 37 minutes of the telethon. Yes, yes, yes.
So exciting.
Again, let me tell y'all how we're going to donate. Here with us.
All right. So I'm going to try this from a different angle.
Uh-uh.
All right. Ways to contribute. Visit STL Metro Trans and click Donate Now. Call 314-287-5383, or you can even text us. That's the beauty of technology. Or you can click the donate button on our Facebook page. That'll probably be easier for a lot of you since you're joining us live from Facebook. But whatever you do, make sure you donate now or at least some other time within the 24-hour time span that we'll be hanging out with you.
All right, we appreciate that so much. Let's give another round of applause for making our first $500.
Yes.
Yes. And y'all think we silly now. Wait till hour 24 gets here.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think we're going to transition into our first entertainment segment.
No pun intended.
Thank you. Yes.
You're bad.
So, all right. So I think it's going to be, we're going to give it over to Lady Ashley.
Yes, we're going to skedaddle off of here.
Skedaddle off to the
We're gonna-
side. Yep.
There you go. Take it, Ashley.
All right, so I am very excited to introduce to you a personal friend of mine, our very own handy human, Jess Peter. Come on in, Jess. Woo.
We're on the carpet.
We're on the carpet, but we got this. This is how we roll, literally.
Oh, see.
So, Jess the handy human, tell us what we're going to be doing today.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. Obviously, a huge fan and supporter of the work that MTUG does in our community. What we're going to be doing today, based on, since we're live on Facebook, I did a live Facebook vote on what people wanted to see us do. And I got some feedback about furniture, some feedback about thrift stores. So, can you hear me? I can't hold this the whole time though.
I'll hold it for you.
I gotta get in
This
here.
is a team effort.
I have a chair which you can see has lived a life. It's lived a life, guys. It's looks like we had a little bit of a spray paint project at one point. I already did part of the top just so we could see that progress as we do this project. A little bit of stain that is put on unevenly. Just generally something you would find in an alley in St. Louis, right? A free chair.
Jess, if it is found in the alley in St. Louis, is this strong enough to support my behind?
So here's the fun part. I brought along some tools to make sure that this chair will serve you and your family for a long time. So a couple of things that every handy queer needs to have in their house is a bottle of wood glue. This Type Bond was given to me by my dad about 5 years ago. I just add water to it every now and then, and it stays fresh. So another free project tool that I grabbed. My dad is watching right now, so I had to throw that out to him.
Hi, Mr. Peters.
A couple of other things we have. I do have this nice little random orbital sander. Got this at a wood show in St. Louis for $50. It's actually on sale on Amazon for the holiday season, $50 right now if you need a random, an orbital sander. This is what I use On a lot of my projects, if you're a friend of mine who's watching, you know I just built a dining room table.
Yes, it is very nice to sit at and eat things.
So this sander was a big part of getting that project finished. A couple other things I have, every project I do, if you find something like a dresser, my friend Molly was telling me about a dresser she's been trying to refinish that's a little wobbly. A really fun tool for that, inexpensive, is a Craig jig set. A Craig jig allows you to clamp this little jig to the side of a piece of wood, drill a diagonal hole, and attach two pieces of lumber much more securely, and put a couple of these along the back side of a dresser where it's coming apart, some drawers that are coming apart. That thing's going to last for another 10 years, especially if you use your handy wood glue. So another, if you have DIY queer human in your life, this is a great Christmas present for them to experiment with. I built an entire 10-foot dining room table using some of these attachments because I'm not trying to do fancy joinery in my basement in South City. But it's a shortcut for those of us who want to make something beautiful on a budget.
That makes me definitely want to play with some lumber, Jess.
I do what I can. And the last thing I'll say is obviously lots of other little stuff you can carry with you. You can see I've got my handy tool belt, got my paint can opener, couple of screwdrivers, always a wooden mallet so we can test, make sure we're nice and sturdy. I will tell you that I got my drill. I noticed, see, this is live. I noticed that this chair is actually coming apart down here, Lady Ashley.
Oh, whoa. What
See,
can we
so
do to fix that? It
we're
would have
gonna-
broken if I sat in it.
There we go, and boom. Look at that. So again, one of the important things, Lady and Ashley are joking a lot, but being able to find stuff like this in an alley or go to a thrift store, grab some furniture is a huge part of just the general resilience, like learning these skills and being able to find things and make them work for you, refinish them so that they're nicer, maybe sell a few things. For any of us who can do a few projects around our house instead of hiring someone, paint something yourself, refinish something yourself that's money you're not spending that you can put towards things that you need in your life. So I'm a huge fan of how the queer community has such a DIY spirit, right? And we support each other. I get a lot of Facebook messages about, oh, I'm doing this in my sink and this is happening. Reach out on Facebook. We're always happy to help out, give you a couple of pieces of advice so you don't have to bring in an expensive person to do an easy fix.
I just bring in Jess Peter to hang the photos
I
on
do.
my wall.
I do have a full-time job, but happy to help out. So what we have here, obviously, this chair has a shiny coat of paint down here. It's got kind of a matte and old stained finish, and you can see that I've already gone over the top. I don't know how much detail we're going to pick up on this camera, but you can see that this part's actually just been done with one coat of paint. The paint that I'm using today is actually, it's a hip classic. It's a chalk paint. Chalk paint is awesome because it can go over anything. So you find an old dresser that's got stain on it, and what scares you is sanding that whole thing down and trying to get all the stain or the paint off of it. All you have to do is rough up a shiny finish a little bit, and chalk paint will go over anything. Okay, so I chalk painted this. This top part of the chair was this electric blue that as of this morning at 8 o'clock. And all I did was take a couple of pieces of maybe like a 180 to a 220 grit sandpaper and do a little bit of this. Scratch it up, scratch it up, scratch it up, and you can go over it with chalk paint, and your chair will look good as new. Another really cool thing about chalk paint, I'll tell you, is if you have, what I did was I did a farm table at my house. So I stained my 4x4 base of my table, right? Went over with chalk paint. You see people kind of doing that cool distressed look, antique wood products like that.
It makes it look expensive.
It makes it look real fancy, like you went to Restoration Hardware, but all my table cost $75, so I did not go to Restoration Hardware. You can actually, instead of sanding and making a mess in your house, this is the coolest thing I found out about chalk paint. In order to distress this chair, I can just take a wet cloth. I can just kind of rub along the edge of this, and you see that blue starting to come out a little bit along the edges of the chair. And now it looks like I have this antique, cool, old product. I don't know if the studio audience can see. You guys see my antiquing happening live in front of you. You can do that as much or as little as you want. You take too much off, you can put some more paint back on. But this chair will look like I got it from a department store when I'm finished with it. And it cost me the cost of the chalk paint, which is currently at the Home Depot for less than $15. So I don't know how much time I have. How are we doing?
Good. We're
Good?
doing
All right.
on time.
So I can tell you a couple of tips for painting with chalk paint is to not be afraid of what your first coat looks like. It looks absolutely terrible. If you zoom in here, you can kind of see how my first coat is just a mess. And that's just how chalk paint goes on. Now I set down see, this is another thing I do, my paint can opener. So don't be afraid if you put the first coat on and it looks terrible. It's supposed to look terrible.
I'm not afraid of looking terrible. I look terrible when I wake up in the morning.
Sometimes it takes a little painting. Maxie Glamroom will tell you it takes a little painting to make it look right. So you can see I had my paintbrush, my wet paintbrush, tied up in a plastic bag in my refrigerator, so I didn't have to wash it between coats. It's another little trick for you. So we just have to go over this. If you go over this the second time, it actually starts to look really nice, right?
Yeah, it looks great.
So we're covering up that ugly blue. You can kind of see on the seat of the chair if I put some paint here. It's going right over that stain. I'll put some on the edge so you can see at home. So instead of spending, it could take 4 to 6 hours to sand a piece of furniture down to raw wood and repaint it and re-shellac it and do all that stuff. And that's really, from what I heard on Facebook, kind of what stops people from trying this at home.
That's what stops me from trying anything at home.
It's a little intimidating, right?
It's intimidating.
So once I get this first layer of chalk paint on here, honestly, it dries in about 20 minutes. My fiance can tell you I gave her this can of chalk paint and some music, and she painted the whole table 2 coats in about 3 hours in our dining room. And then we just go back with a wet cloth and kind of distress it how we want it. Like I said, if we distress it too much, we just take a little bit more chalk paint and come back with it. The only issue you're going to have is, like I said, if this spray paint obviously has that clear finish like most spray paints do, is if you don't buff that up, give it a little bit of texture. All it has to be is that if you can feel that it's not smooth and shiny anymore, then the chalk paint will stick to it. It just gets in those little grooves that you make in the paint and sticks really well. The last thing with chalk paint, because it's in the name, chalk paint, if you take this chair dry and go sit in it, the chalk paint will rub off. Like if I used a wet cloth to rub paint off of it, so you can see it kind of comes off pretty easily. The last thing you have to do is grab some polyurethane. You can use it in a spray paint can like I have. I use this when I make cornhole boards.
What's a cornhole board?
That's an Indiana thing. My dad will know what I'm talking about. Beanbag toss, whatever you call it in Missouri. I grew up in Indiana in the land of corn, so we call it cornhole.
I call it lesbian sports.
Is some polyurethane. You can do a spray paint, do this outside obviously, and do that final coat. You can also get this kind of polyurethane in a can and paint it on. So once I get my perfect antique look approved by my fiance for our dining room, I will put a coat of polyurethane over the whole project, and I have a beautiful dining room chair that really, the chair was free. You might have to pay $5 for something like this at St. Vinny's. I was told by my roommate that the St. Vincent on Kings Highway has lots of cool chairs if anybody's excited to go do this today.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can get the chalk paint in the paint section at the Home Depot. It's on your left side by the spray paint area. A couple other tools I'll say, if you do have to do a little bit of sanding, people want to go out and get expensive stuff. And my sanding kit cost me about $3 for a couple different types of sandpaper and then random pieces of wood that were laying around in my basement. So it is absolutely not a high cost hobby to get started with. I wrap the sandpaper around this piece of wood, and boom. I have a fancy sanding block for about $2. You can get, the ones that have the foam on the inside of them. It makes getting around the edges of things a little easier, especially if your piece has lots of intricate woodwork and stuff on it. But Yeah, so saying all that to say that I hope that just with this quick little tutorial, you got a chance to learn something new. Maybe next time you see something out in an alley, you'll kind of sit in it, wiggle around. If it's sturdy, take it home with you.
Take it home with you.
If you're not, if you don't have a drill and you're not comfortable with, making something a little bit more sturdy, no big deal. But like I said, with a Craig jig, a couple of finish nails, and some wood glue, you can pretty much bring anything back to life. You can just put that on a t-shirt and I'll wear it around. But what I hope is, that a couple more folks are willing to give some old furniture some new life, save a little money in the process, and have that feeling when people come over, they sit at the table I built, and it feels really good to know that your friends and family are using something that you made with your own two hands. And you didn't give the money to a big corporation in the process. So,
well, that's
awesome.
Sweet. I appreciate you too, Jess. Thank you so much.
If you're watching because of me, I'm going to expect to see some donations coming in since I've shared this knowledge with you. So if you're in my family, there's some extra guilt for you. If you're a friend of mine, would love to see you throw a few bucks towards an organization I really care about.
Yes, you can most definitely feel free to donate by going to stlmetrotrans.com, or you can go to our Facebook page and click the donate button. Thank you so much, Jess, our handy human. She's taught us how to do some do-it-yourself projects. Yeah. Feel free to go on down to the Home Depot and pick up some chalk paint and make a project of your own. So let's see here. Where are we at right now? Okay, we're coming back. I'm going to put this microphone back because what's the point of having two microphones? Keep it? I'm keeping it. I'm keeping the microphone.
I don't have a microphone.
I like this in my hand.
You're not mic'd, so
No, not mic'd.
Oh, okay.
So I guess people out there got tired of me holding.
I don't know. You have to turn to the side so they can see what's going on.
This is just priceless. So I guess they got tired of me holding that piece of cardboard, so they made this sign like this.
I
how
tried to
fancy.
take it off of her hand and it wouldn't come off. I was like, why isn't this moving right now? This was genius, whoever did that.
Right, Lewis.
Thank
yeah,
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Lyric, thank you. Did you help with Lewis? Yes, thank you. That's lovely. So much more professional looking.
Yes.
Because we are fancy.
We are fancy here. So this is where we're going to put on our list next year, printed ways you can donate. And speaking of donating, please keep donating. But this is a message we probably all three need to send to our friends. We are busy for the next 24 hours.
Right.
So you can call me, but I won't answer. You can text me, I probably won't answer. So just be patient. I'll get back to you afternoon tomorrow because I just checked my phone and they're like 37. Girl, we see you. How can I? I'm like, you know what? I
you
love
can
you.
see me,
If you can
donate.
That's what we're saying. And the way you can donate is one of these three ways, right?
All
That's
right.
right.
Again, you can go to stlmetrotrans.com and click donate now, or you can call 314-287-5383 or text. Last but not least, you can go to Facebook land at facebook.com/Metrotrans Umbrella Group and click donate.
See, yeah, so we have great ways, and we're all sharing microphones today, so, just bear with us. We're having a good time. Thank you for the people out there that have been giving us great reviews on our first hour. We're approaching, we have 5 more minutes left on our first hour. We got 23 more hours to go, so we're going to check on a total here to see if we've gotten even to the first $1,000. We had $565 the last time we checked, so we're going to get our accountant. I think it's Price, Waterhouse, and Biscuit. I don't know. So, where are we at right now? We're at 880.
We're at 880.
So we're 120.
That
we have
is
5
amazing.
minutes away to get to our 100, our first 1,000. So please, all my friends out there, $10. Yes,
Come on,
$10.
yes.
Every little bit helps. So
For
whether you
sure.
can donate 5 or you can donate 500, we appreciate you all the same, and we thank you so much for all your love and support. And here it is. You've made it through the first hour with us. So thank you so much for tuning in and tagging along, as my mom would say on her radio show.
Because, on a Saturday afternoon, if you're out and about and you got some groceries, you go to the grocery store, you're driving through somewhere, pick us up something to eat. Because, you know,
That's
I'm a
right.
big girl. I got to eat for 24 hours. And y'all can tell I love to eat. So if you want to drop something off, we'll be more than happy to take it. We got juice, we got coffee. If you want to drop off some pastries or some burgers, how about a big old roaster full of spaghetti?
Gluten-free goodies are also
Gluten-free,
appreciated.
yes, gluten-free goodies are also, I don't understand them, but they're good for those folks who like that stuff. But you know, don't bring no fried chicken because then I'll have to rate you about it. So, you know, because I make the best fried chicken in St. Louis.
It's true.
But we're having such a good, this hour flew by,
It
didn't
went
it?
quick. It went quick.
That's what happens when you're with people you love and you're having fun.
Yes, it's like a family reunion when you get together and you sit around and people are cooking and you're talking,
That's
you're
right.
watching TV.
That's right.
You know, this is what this feels like. It feels like family, hanging out with family today.
does,
And this 24 hours is going to go fast.
Yeah.
So come on, hang out with your family for a little bit longer.
You can hang out at home. We also have a small live studio audience that we are encouraging to actively engage us because we love the cheering and the laughing and we love the loving. Great, we're getting some signals on what we're doing next. And I think we're gonna probably do a transition. We should do some.
Okay, that means my time is up and I don't have to come back until when?
1 a.m.
Well, at midnight, I think, or 1 a.m. So I got 12 hours. Then I'm going to hang out, take some calls, maybe take a little disco nap, you know, do a meow meow.
Meow, meow.
Get on my phone, get y'all to donate.
That's right.
So have we reached $1,000 yet? I'm not leaving until we reach $1,000.
Uh-oh.
We got
Let's pause.
896. So close. We got like 3 more minutes. Who wants to bring us up to that $1,000 mark? What is that?
Jill.
We have
$100. $996.
$996.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
996. Jill All, who we are going to be interviewing in our next hour.
Yes, I love
Kicked it up to like how many? $4 now?
$4.
What?
How many $4?
So if you have $4 that you would love to donate, 4 is my lucky number.
What?
Yeah, I was born on 4/4 at 4:04 in the afternoon. So if someone wants to donate $4 for me, it would be
That's
truly
awesome.
appreciated.
So we're waiting to see if we make that. We're gonna make it. I have a feeling in my bones. We're gonna make it. We got 2 minutes to 1 o'clock. 2 minutes to 1 o'clock. Then we're gonna make our $1,000 mark. We're gonna kick this off. I was gonna say something, but I can't say that because we're on Facebook. But you know, I'll say it for the later night hours. Because you know, after when the sun goes down. PG on more, okay? So we're gonna have a good. I've had so much fun. So. So we yes, this is so exciting.
What a fantastic way to start our first hour,
Yes,
y'all.
way to go.
And
St.
just
Louis
think,
is bringing it.
We're bringing it,
Yes.
STL, and just think if we keep it up at this momentum, we can hit our goal and
Then
hopefully
some.
surpass it. So that would be great.
Yes,
that's
thank you so
amazing.
much. Thank you. We appreciate you so much for painting it. It's coming on. Oh, okay. Each level is going to be a different color. I
Yeah,
love that.
hopefully we will have
A
all
rainbow.
the colors of the rainbow. See, that's a little sneak
Yes.
peek of my
The
karaoke.
The fundraising thermometer and all of our paint supplies for the entire telethon is sponsored by Dick Blick.
By Dick
Yes,
Blick, yes.
thank you, Dick Blick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dick Blick.
Thank you, Dick Blick. Well, it is 12:59.
All right, I'm going to transition us
Okay.
into our next interview, which is Jamie.
Yes.
She's going to come on and talk about. Nope, yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Oh, they're like,
Between-
no, no, okay.
No.
Okay, so we roll with
Welcome
the
to-
punches.
Right.
Welcome to
so-
live TV.
Right. Jen Norman's next. Is that right? Yes. Jen
Yes,
Norman.
Jen. Hey,
Okay.
Jen.
Oh, hello, Jen Norman. Yes, great. Okay, so we're
Hey.
going to have some entertainment. Like some different kinds of entertainment.
Some real
here.
entertainment.
Some singing and so we're just going to transition off now.
Yeah, it was great tagging
Thank
along,
you. Thank you
tuning
for the
in
first
with
hour.
you all. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you.
Ashley, will you come back on again?
I'll be back on the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to be introducing Andro Beat for you, and you may see some active wrestling.
And I'll be back around midnight or 1 a.m. and take you through the rest of the telethon till 7 a.m. So please, when you go out, you want to call in and donate before you go. go out, have a good time, stop on by your way back home, get on the phone, talk to me. I'll be here during the nighttime hours. So we're going to have a good time. Miss Sarah, now we're going to turn it back over to you, sweetie.
Give it to me. All right. Thanks, y'all. I'll see you soon. Yes, yes. Hey.